What do you do when a serial killer breaks into your home, ties up your wife, and stabs you in the chest? If you're Doug Wells, you grab a shotgun and you fight for your life. This week on Dead or Survive, we dive into the chilling story of Kris and Doug Wells, the couple who took down a monster. Plus, we've got Darwin Award gold, a guy who thought he could kung fu a lion, and someone who thought standing on a roller coaster was a good idea. Spoiler, it wasn't. Welcome to Dead or Survive.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dead or Survive. I am your host, Rob Riches.
And I'm your other host, Cheryl Riches. I am going to talk about Kris and Doug Wells this week.
Oh my God, I know this story.
You do?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Okay, I've given you a couple weeks off, right?
No, you're going to do this? Buckle up, everybody. Buckle up. Danger, danger.
We're going to go back into it. We're going to dive into the darkness a little bit here.
Down the rabbit hole we go.
This survival story is about Kris and Doug that I already said, but I'm going to start by telling you about their attacker. And his name is Wayne Nance.
No middle name?
I didn't write it down.
How can you be a serial killer without a middle name? You just
How do you know it's a serial killer?
Well, I guess I don't.
But he is.
So what's his middle name?
I don't know. I don't know. It did say it one time, but most of the time it just refers to him as Wayne Nance. So I don't know. Maybe because he has such an unusual name, he's not going to get confused with...
Yeah, because Wayne's really unusual.
Nance is a weird last name that you don't
Nance,
hear very often.
Okay, carry on with your story.
So Wayne was born on October 18th in 1955 in Missoula, Montana. He grew up in a mobile home outside of town with a father employed as a truck driver and a woman who worked as his mother was a waitress. He was a latchkey kid who excelled at school. He was considered a bit peculiar around town, but mostly well liked. Like no red flags going up. However, at the age of 18, Wayne Nance committed his first murder.
Don't they always say that? Oh, he was so normal.
Yeah,
I cannot imagine who'd ever do that.
It's because they're sociopaths and they just try to mimic how other people feel, right? So they try, their entire lives are spent trying to look normal to everybody else.
Yeah, like look normal like everybody else.
Right.
Right, just copy what they say.
Okay, sociopath.
Okay.
Okay. So living several houses down from Nance was the Pounds family, and he actually visited the Pounds family quite often. They were friends of the family or whatever. I'm not sure what he was doing there. They were the Pound family was religious. I don't know if he was going there for religious reasons or whatever, but
maybe just like the way the family was formed and being a latchkey kid, that he actually looked at them as a normal family and a mom and a father there bonding with their children.
Could be, but who knows in this mind of a serial killer, right?
I'm just telling you, that's what I would look for. That's what I'd look for.
So Wayne snuck into the Pounds house and found their .22 caliber gun. Anna, the wife, was home alone. Wayne tied her up, raped her, and then led her into the basement and fired 5 bullets into her head.
At 18?
At 18 years old, yeah. Actually, that's late in life for a lot of serial killers.
Yeah, they usually start with animals and throw out some red flags, and they're killing and skinning animals.
Yeah,
they don't just hit a switch at 18 and go click. Oh, let's go rape somebody. Who knows what he was
doing before that? This is all I know he was doing.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying when they're saying there was no red flags, right?
Yeah.
Like if you look at Jeffrey Dahmer, you look at some of the gray cases, they say there was animals. They have up. There was this
head injuries. There's the trifecta. I can't think of what they are. But...
Well, I don't know either. But anyways, you can go on with your story.
When a neighbor told the police that he had seen Wayne at the house the night of the murder. So police went over and they're like, were you there? And he denied having any involvement. He said that he'd been sick in bed all day long. Police executed a search warrant for his house and discovered a pair of blood-stained underwear which had recently been washed. While the blood stain was identified as coming from a human, they could not determine who it had come from. So... they also found out that Donna's husband, Harvey, had been having an affair, which made him a suspect in the murder. So a lot of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Suspicions went from Wayne to Harvey because of the affair and whatever, even though they found blood-stained underwear in his house. They didn't have enough evidence. He was still a strong suspect, but they weren't able to arrest Wayne Nance, and the case ended up going cold. 5 years later, in 1979, the body of a raped and stabbed teenage girl was found near Beavertail Hill by railroad workers near the I-90 in Missoula. Missoula.
So, just why I'm interrupting you anyways.
Okay.
Serial killers. They're saying the three things that, or the idea of the three signs that can indicate whether someone will grow to be into a serial killer or not.
Bedwetting, that's one of them, right?
Right. Being cruel or abusive to animals, especially pets, setting fires to objects, or otherwise committing minor acts of arson, and regularly wetting the bed.
And a head injury, I think, is another one that's not included there. But
there's only three.
The arson one hasn't been one that I've heard a lot. I've heard the head injury, bedwetting, hurting animals.
Well, this one was published in 1963, and they're saying it's the most in-depth one. But maybe moving on.
And little signs you should watch from your neighborhood children, I guess. Okay, back to the stabbed girl that they found. She didn't match any missing persons reports, so they named her Betty Beavertail because that's where she was found. And until 1985, they didn't know who she was, so that was her name. In 1985, they identified her as 15-year-old Seattle runaway Devonna Nelson. In 1984, Nance was working as a bouncer at the Missoula's Cabin Bar. He was also dating a 16-year-old drifter named Marcella Bachman. People didn't know her as Marcella, though. They knew her as Robin. That's what she went by. The couple announced that they would leave town in September and start anew somewhere else. So they're telling everybody, and I'm sure Robin believed that they were leaving to start a family somewhere. And they were all happy and everything was going to be good, right?
Bum, 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 bum.
Right. Just shy of 3 months later, a wildlife photographer trudging through the woodland of Missoula came across...
Let me guess, a robin.
No. Well, true. Yes. Poking out of the earth was a human foot. Police arrived at the scene and unearthed the body of a young woman. At this point, they didn't know it was Robin because, again, there's no missing persons report. I guess when you murder somebody, you don't report a missing persons.
No, that's not usually the first thing
right.
you do.
They did know that she'd been shot in the head 3 times, and when they discovered her, they knew that she had been decomposing for about 3 months. And they named her Debbie Deer Creek until they could identify her in 2006 with DNA.
Wow, why so long for her?
I don't know. Like, when did DNA become really accurate and used widely?
I thought it came back. I thought it was starting to be pretty good in the early 80s, 90s, but who knows? What do I know?
I don't know. I don't know why, but that's maybe she didn't have any other friends or family to identify who she was. Like, maybe they knew that he had murdered her, but couldn't find out who Robin was, right? Then in September of 1985, a bear hunter found skeletal remains scattered across the hillside of West Missoula. She had 2 bullets lodged into her skull. She had no personal items which could identify her, and she became known as Crystal Creek. That's a tongue twister.
So the advent of DNA testing became in 1985.
Okay, so
and in 1987, the United States first used DNA testing in the case of Tommy Andrews, a Florida rapist.
Oh, wow. And so, yeah, there was quite a few years. But listen to this one, Crystal Creek. It wasn't until May of 2021.
Really? What was her name?
Her real name?
No, what was the name they gave her?
Crystal Creek. Are you just trying to make me say the tongue twister over and over?
And to make sure our audience know who she was.
Well, her real name was Janet Lee Lucas, and this is sad.
Well, that one wasn't much better than the Crystal Creek Christie.
Janet Lee grew up in California and Washington, and she had a son who was 5 years old when she vanished, and her son spent worst part is that her son spent much of his adult life searching for his mother.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah.
And then he probably also had to grow up in foster homes and get pushed around. And
who knows? It was probably just bad news everywhere. All right, this part's probably the worst.
Of course it is.
Okay. On December 12th, Mike and Teresa Shook had just eaten dinner and their three small children when they heard a violent knock on the front door. When Mike opened the door, Wayne lunged at him with a butcher knife, stabbing him to death. Teresa was dragged to the bedroom where she was tied up and then raped and stabbed to death. Afterwards, Nance set house to the fire to try to conceal
house to what?
He set the house on fire. What did I say?
Not that.
Okay, he set the house on fire.
You know why I know? Because I interrupted you and went, what? What you talk about over there?
To try and conceal the evidence and probably to try and kill the children, which he didn't do, which I'm surprised. It's good. The kids all lived. They all survived.
But how did they survive that?
Well, somebody saw that their house was on fire and called 911, and then the fire trucks and police got there and saved them. They were all unconscious when they got there, and they pulled them all out of the house unconscious, but they all lived.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Now,
pretty
of course,
good timing, right?
Right. Now, though, they're orphans, and
well, yeah.
Anyways, but there's no sign of Wayne. They don't know who it is, but they start calling this guy that they don't know who it is the Missoula Mauler. That's what his serial killer name is.
Ooh, hope he gets a rewrite in the movie. That's a horrible name.
Well, it's the name that's going to stick with him because it's like a pretty widely known name for him. But Wayne just went about his life like it was normal. He got a job at a furniture store where he worked as a delivery driver. And he was that typical kind of, we already went over this, but I wrote it in my story, where you don't suspect the guy. Oh, I worked with that guy for years. I would have never thought, whatever, right? He was that guy.
I was married with him and we had 3 dogs. Blah, blah, blah.
He was handsome and charming. And so people kind of just never looked at him like he might be shady. Okay. Let's get back to the survival part.
Yeah, that was a long introduction for
I'm giving you a background. While Wayne was working at the furniture store, he got to know his supervisor a bit, who was Doug Wells. What Doug didn't know was that Wayne had developed a thing for his wife, Kris. He had a crush on his wife. When a serial killer has a crush on your wife, that's never good news.
It depends if the insurance is paid up.
Oh, shit. So on September 3rd, 1986, around midnight...
I'm just saying, you paint everything with a negative brush. Maybe there's some positives.
I don't think there's any positive in killing people, like serial murder. I just don't think that's a thing. Anyways.
Crush on his wife.
Right. So on September 3rd, 1986, around midnight, Doug sees somebody sneaking around in his bushes outside the house. So he goes outside to see what's up. And he finds Wayne Nance in his bushes. Wayne claims that he was driving by and stopped when he saw somebody peeking into the windows of the house. So Wayne asked Doug if he has a flashlight. So Doug's like, yeah, I'll go get it. And he goes inside to get the flashlight. When he turns and gets inside, Nance pistol whipped him and knocked him, like bashed his head with a pistol and knocked him onto the ground. Kris, his wife, comes running out to see what's going on and finds her husband bleeding all over the floor. And Wayne's there with a gun pointed at him, and Kris orders her at gunpoint to tie her husband up. So she does. She ties him up, and then Wayne ties up Kris and drags her up to the second level where the bedroom is, and he tied her to the bed before ordering Doug to go back into the basement. So Wayne goes down to the basement and ties Doug up to a pole, and then he stabs Doug in the chest with an 8-inch knife.
Okay, so she tied her husband up.
Right.
He walked both of them upstairs.
Right.
Tied her up.
To the bed. Right.
To the bed, and then took her husband back down the stairs.
Right. And he probably said, like...
And stabbed him.
Right.
Okay.
But he was probably like, if you try to escape, I'm going to kill your husband, whatever, all the things that they say. Right? So he's stabbed in the chest, and Wayne thinks that Doug is dead, and he returns upstairs to the bedroom. But he missed Doug's heart by about an inch. And Doug is a gunsmith, so he knows a little thing about guns, right? He knows a thing or two about guns. So Doug is bleeding everywhere with this giant gash in his chest, and he manages to untie himself. He gets his shotgun and he loads it, and he starts stumbling up to the second story towards the bedroom. But Wayne can hear him coming up the stairs, so he comes out into the hallway to investigate. The two men started to fight, and Doug manages to shoot Wayne. And while they're fighting, they end up in the bedroom, back in the bedroom. So at like the foot of the bed, and Doug is beating Wayne up with his gun. And meanwhile, Kris, who's tied to the bed and sees these men come stumbling in, sees, her husband's bleeding everywhere. So she's still tied to the bed, but she like pulls the rope as far as she can. And she is like kicking and punching and getting Wayne in whatever way that she can. And in the meantime, Doug is like bashing Wayne's head in with the end of his gun. Wayne ended up shooting back towards Doug and shot him in the leg, but then Wayne lost consciousness. So the Wellses, they called 911 and the police get there, and both Wayne and Doug are rushed to the hospital. Doug recovered from his injuries, so yay, but Wayne died in the hospital, so yay, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Double win.
Right. So after Nance's death, authorities uncovered that this attempted slaying wasn't an isolated incident, and they linked Nance to the 6 other murders and linked him to being the Missoula Mauler. Wayne Nance, I don't know I think he's the only one, if not, he is one of the only ones for sure, serial killers to be killed by a would-be victim. So that's the story of Kris and Doug Wells and how they kicked ass and probably saved, if they hadn't have done that, who knows how many more he would have got, right?
Yeah, because if you're going into 2021 and they still didn't know who he was or anything like that,
right?
Or know that one,
yeah,
he just kept going on and on. It doesn't seem like it was hard for him to pick up and move on and go to different towns and stuff. So yeah, good for them.
Right. Okay. So.
Oh, sorry.
Also, because nobody has written me a story. Well, other than back at what episode did?
I don't know, but it was Michelle. And we thank her for it.
Yeah, but okay. It's been a long time. That's all I'm saying. I
think we actually did on episode 10. I think that was our episode 10 special.
Oh, that's right. You're so right. Look at your memory. Anyways, I thought I'd steal a story off the internet. And maybe
she is so desperate for stories, guys. She's gonna actually go out and try to survive something so she can tell a story. I don't she's gonna get hit by a dump truck or something.
I just thought if I stole a story off the internet, maybe it would inspire somebody else to send a story to me.
Read away, baby.
All right,
this is your time.
All right, this is a story somebody sent into the thought catalog, and I'm gonna read it for you and pretend it's one of my listener stories. Okay. Back in the early 90s, a friend worked as a waiter in the city but lived in Forest Hills, Queens. My buddy was in his early 20s and had long brown hair. From behind in the dark, you could easily mistake him for a woman. He was walking home from the subway one night, and a man rushed on. My friend starts running after this man, but he couldn't catch him. He reaches up to his neck, realizes his throat has been cut open, so he holds the wound and walks home. He walks home. He's in shock. He gets home, he's standing in the bathroom, and his dad walks in. The friend's white dress shirt is now a red dress shirt. The father grabs him, and they go to the emergency room. 37 stitches, just missed the artery. Turns out this was a serial killer preying on young brunette women in the city, and my friend is the only person to survive an attack who could identify him. Based on his description, they finally catch the killer. My friend goes to court and testify, and the guy gets multiple life sentences.
Wow.
Right?
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's my stolen listener story.
You feel better now?
I do a little.
You feel vindicated. I got to tell another listener story, even if it wasn't mine or written to us. I could steal a listener story.
Oh, I found so many.
We have so many new listeners, guys. It's really amazing. I don't know where they all came from.
We do have a new country, though, we didn't talk about.
Yeah, because we talk about that later.
Oh.
Why 22 episodes? You know how this works yet?
Okay, surprise. We have a new country.
Okay, well, I guess we can get back into that a little later.
Yeah. We'll get back to that.
Can I have my turn before we start getting into other parts of it?
Oh, you want a turn?
I am going to write down how this whole podcast flows for you. I'm going to put a flow chart right in front of where you sit.
You know what? That's actually a really good idea.
It probably is at this point. I thought, maybe the first 3 episodes, first 6, we're working on how we're going to do it, how it's going to flow. By 22,
head injury.
That's your survival story. Anyways, On to the part everybody's waiting for, the Darwin Awards.
Here we go. Johnny is making a comeback.
The song Kung Fu Fighting
Right.
was released, the original anyways, in 1974.
Really?
Which, by the way, was right in the middle of the Kung Fu heyday era
Yes.
for movies, and which is probably why that song was written.
One of my favorite t-shirts says, "Surely not everybody was Kung Fu fighting."
You know what? In the 70s, everybody was. Yeah, so in 1970, the world was gripped by the Kung Fu craze. Martial arts films such as The King Boxer, and probably more known, Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon,
Right.
brought the ancient Chinese martial art philosophy to the big screen.
And everywhere else.
And everywhere else. Then when Lee died in 1973,
Right.
it only served to heighten the mystery and more about the form of the fighting.
Yeah. It's intriguing.
Yeah, so now it got really, because there was the whole, Bruce Lee,
Conspiracy theories.
well, legend, and that his whole family's possessed, and then of course you get into Brandon Lee and all that stuff, right?
Right. Yep.
So it only heightened it, the mystery around him and all that stuff. It was also used to kick off TV series like Kung Fu. Do you remember that one with David?
Yeah. What was used to kick it off?
Bruce Lee was there, but then the popularity of it, they started doing. So it started.
Right, yeah.
I guess. Sorry, it brought it over to the Western civilization.
Right.
Civilization where we started, Kung Fu, the Legend Continues, and then you get into more, modern movies with The Matrix, which was, all about Kung Fu, and then you get into Kung Fu Panda. Like it's just gone on and on, right? Like the 70s was the height of it, and everybody was, but. Somewhere in there, Chuck Norris fits into all that stuff too. Karate, Kung Fu, all this stuff.
Karate Kid, all of it.
Right. So, I mean, what Kung Fu Panda couldn't have been that long ago now, is it? I don't even know how long ago it was. I think 2008.
It's in the 2000s.
Yeah, 2008. So, I mean, it's still ongoing. There's still the Kung Fu stuff out there and still having fun with it and blah, blah, blah. And they actually remade the song Kung Fu. Everybody's Kung Fu.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was remade by a UK group, I believe. I don't know. I didn't write any of this down. I'm just going off by memory.
Right.
But I'm probably right because I'm usually right. So anyways, it took off like wildfire. So still to this day, there are nearly 3.5 million students enrolled in classes, and it brings in around $4 billion.
Wow.
It's also got, now you got your UFC and your mixed martial arts and all that stuff that's been brought into it. And karate has now been put into the Olympics as well. So why so much about Kung Fu?
Why so much?
Well, that's because our Johnny was a Kung Fu master.
Like for real though?
No.
Oh.
No. He took a Kung Fu class. Yep, not at all. So in late 1989 in Australia, for our Australian friends, our Johnny was a rather impressionable student of Kung Fu. Johnny listened to his instructor and believed everything he said without question.
Okay. I guess we have to be careful around people like that.
After one training session, his teacher would say, "Oh
my God, that is so terrible. You're going to hell."
Which, for those of you that are immersed in several languages as I am, What?
Carry on. What does it mean?
It means, what does it mean? I forget what it means now. Oh, yes, here's what it means. It means at this level in your training, you can kill wild animals with your bare hands.
That's what he told him after one lesson?
So it's a couple lessons. Just tell him this that level he's at and stuff like that.
Okay.
He took a couple lessons. I didn't say like one. I said a couple.
Okay.
And that's where his master thought he was at.
Okay.
Johnny took this as gospel.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like gospel.
He didn't like say which kind of wild animals?
No, he headed right down to the Melbourne Zoo.
Oh, no.
Yep. And he was going to test his skill against the wildest of them all, the strongest, the scariest. That's right, a bunny rabbit.
Why did he go to the zoo for a bunny?
He didn't. I just like throwing some comedy in there every once in a while and watching you believe me. I guess it is Darwin. No, he went in and he went to the lion cage.
Oh no.
So, yeah, in the dead of the night, he slipped into the zoo and leapt into the lion enclosure and engaged the king of the jungle in combat.
So he just runs into a zoo, finds the lions.
Pretty good ninja skills, though. He slipped right in undetected.
And decides he's going to, like, go beat up a lion? Like,
yeah. What's wrong with that plan? He was just told that he can
why though? Why would that be okay? And even if he could, why would he want to?
Because he wants to test his ability. I don't know. You remember Mr. Miyagi in the movie Karate Kid?
Yeah.
And they're walking by. It was Karate Kid 2. And he goes, "Can you break a tree like that?" And Mr. Miyagi goes, "Oh no, never been attacked by a tree." Maybe he wanted to know, so if he got attacked by a lion. Right?
Right.
Because if you don't know, you don't know, right? You only know what you know. So if you go into a lion's thing and you attack a lion and you survive, you know. If you don't...
Do we know how old this Johnny is?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't think that was important to the story, but now you've made me wonder if it is important to the story. He was old enough to know that he shouldn't be sneaking into a zoo, I can tell you that much.
Yes.
Now, Johnny probably would have lost this fight even if it was a one-on-one. But he never got to try. His plan forgot a couple of things. One, like the joy the whole lion pride would find of having a new toy in there. And a nice tender intruder.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, the whole pride went right after him. And the second thing at his fault was maybe his karate instructor didn't know what he was talking about.
That would be a terrible way to die.
Oh, wouldn't it though? Just being ripped and clawed and shredded.
My God. I really hope that it happens.
That's like that in Jurassic Park when he goes to talk to that kid in the very first one. He goes, and the raptor comes out and don't expect them in front of you. They come side to side and rip you with your claws. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And biting. And you're going to feel it. Like, you're not going to.
Oh, you totally would. Yeah. I just hope it would be fast, I guess.
However, he did win a Kung Fu Darwin Award.
Good for him.
So he's got one trophy. Hey, he's a master of Darwin Awards.
I wonder how that instructor felt when he found out.
Right?
Yeah.
I just told this guy he could do this, so then he goes and does it. Like, you got to really watch what you say sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, so that's Darwin Award number 1.
All right, good job.
As always, I give you a Darwin Award number 2.
Okay.
So this next one, I'm going to tell you a little. So Johnny, number 2, was a huge roller coaster fan.
Okay.
And also happened to be a Harvard MBA.
Okay.
I'm telling you this to show you that not all Darwin Award winners are dumb.
No, this guy has obviously got some intelligence behind him.
Yes, sadly, her.
Oh.
Her.
Well, you just. Her. Do you want to say that a couple more times?
Her. Ivy League school, somewhere along the way, did not teach her standing up on a roller coaster was dangerous.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? Like, you would think that if you got into Harvard, you would know that standing up on a roller coaster is...
You would think so, yes. Like, I mean, standing up fully how? How did she get out of the bar?
Well, in 2003, Johnny was visiting Holiday World and Splash and Safari in Indiana for their annual Stark Raven Mad roller coaster fan event, where you can come down and just ride the roller coasters.
Okay.
I'm just doing that here. Somebody wants voice acting. I can do it. The spirited and intelligent Johnny was eager to try out the Raven, reputedly one of the most terrifying roller coasters in the world. The student was strapped into her
Okay, we get the point. It's a woman.
Seat at the rear of the car. But apparently, she unbuckled herself.
How, though?
I don't know, because maybe it was just like a wooden roller coaster where you don't get the straps over you and you just get the buckles on you. That's what I'm guessing. I haven't ridden the Raven. I guess I got to go to Indiana and I'll tell you. I don't know.
Sure the Raven doesn't exist anymore. Or if it does, it probably has some advanced security features.
Yeah, like the locks open. I thought it was a stick or something to get them open, right? Unbuckled herself and then standing during the ride. It was a practice known as catching airtime. Witnesses reported that Johnny was virtually standing up in the roller coaster.
Oh my God.
Sadly, the student caught a little too much air during the roller coaster's 5th turn and plummeted 69 feet to the ground.
I think I've had a dream like that before.
She was pronounced dead on the way to the
no.
hospital.
Oh no.
Yeah. Ride malfunctions and freak accidents and passengers ignoring rules at amusement parks are they happen, and when they do happen, it's a lot of tragedy.
Right.
But surprisingly enough, when I was looking it up, there are roughly only about 30,000 amusement park injuries a year, and only a handful have resulted in death. And that number is actually out of the number of deaths was out of the last decade. There's only been a handful.
Well, so there's so many security features that are supposed to be implemented to prevent that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so most of us can expect a day at the theme park to be fun and entertaining, and there are risks to riding the rides. And I think that's I think that is actually something, you know what I mean? It's scary. There's that, thought that you might die over, but you think all that safety stuff's there, but once in a while, it just doesn't happen, right? But I thought, roller coaster season is starting to come up in Canada now. We're starting to get a little warmer. I'm sure people have been, they haven't had the thrill rides for a couple of years now with everything going on. And as you stated at the very beginning, see how I brought this full circle? Yeah. Full circle, right back to the beginning.
Like you planned it.
Like I planned it without even knowing. It's like I fed you what I wanted you to say, reeled you in, and then let you spew it out.
Carrying on.
Oh, yes. Getting back. So make sure that you are following the rules. There's a lot of other things. It's things like people like, I'm going to sneak my cell phone on and I'm going to take a picture, and then the cell phone comes out and smacks people in the head because they drop it.
Yeah.
It's injuries like that can be avoided. And you got to remember, you're not the only one on that roller coaster. Right?
Yeah, because chances are, if you lose your cell phone, it's not going to hit you. It's going to hit the person behind you.
Well, that's the thing, right? So you got to follow the rules and make sure that you're checking everything, even that you're locked in properly. Because believe it or not, so this is March 24th, 2022.
Okay.
At Icon Park. So this is really recent.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a 14-year-old boy fell to his death while riding the Orlando Freefall. So somehow the locking mechanism failed. It's still under investigation right now.
Oh, so, that's scary.
Yeah, so I mean, make sure you're checking your safety stuff. Make sure you're not putting your knees up. I know I used to do that I would raise it up a little bit so you can bounce up.
Yeah, because they put it so tight.
Yeah, and you want a little more. And I'm a little bit of a taller guy, and I'm like, it kind of hurt a little bit, and you don't want to be on the ride, but I get it. And I mean, it's still just nice to know that it's actually locking in and stuff. Give it a little test and let the ride specialists, the attendants, take care of that for you, right? And make sure that you have a fun summer with things coming up, and that way you can listen to all of our podcasts.
Yeah, we can't lose any listeners.
Yeah, we've got so little. But with that, segue into call to action. Look at that, eh? Just bang, bang, bang. Actually, we've done really well this week, so thank you very much. Our listen levels have gone way up. Still haven't hit our 72, so if you have any extra friends, we got a lot. Yeah. We really did. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Sincerely, we glad that you're listening. We hope that you're enjoying it. Any comments, feedback, stories, so my wife will stop stealing them, you can send them. We do have an email.
I will. The email is deadersurvivepodcast@gmail.com.
Because she's going to start sending these stories to herself, saying that somebody sent them to her. I know where she's going to go with this. When she's about 5 summer bees back in, she'll be like, "It's mine." No, this was Julie. You remember Julie from college? Julie from college. You never met her. Shut up, Rob. That's where this is going to go. You can also check out on Facebook, and like I said, we are getting going to be more interactive on there. We have some ideas.
We are going to get on that.
Oh, we have some more ideas. We have some ideas out there, and we're going to put them on. We just have to. We got some little bit of time coming up, so we can start arranging things. I want to put out decent quality. It may not be real good quality, but something that's. And we will be updating our. Hopefully, give us 2 weeks, and we should have our Instagram up. We should have our merch up and running, and we should have more Facebook stuff going.
Yes.
Because my wife's going to have some time off, so I've got a list for her stuff she has to do.
You have time off too, so you can do stuff too.
I'm going to walk the dogs. The dogs need walking.
They do, indeed.
So that's what I'm going to do. And we've got a new country with us, as mentioned earlier in the podcast. So
yeah, when I let the cat out of the bag.
Yay to
Brazil.
I still think we answered that last week, didn't we? No, who's last week?
Last week was Nigeria and
Spain. Oh my
Spain.
God, we're getting so many new countries. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And I can't really thank you anymore, but all those exciting things are coming up. So wait for us. Maybe a big 25 episode announcement.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's when it's going to happen. I don't know. It could.
So I know what this part is.
Oh, do you remember this part? I was waiting to see, or if you're just going to be like, bye.
I remembered.
You remember?
I'm so proud of myself when I remember things. You have no idea.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for dad jokes.
Dad joke.
What do you get from short cows?
Skim milk.
Condensed milk.
I like that one, actually. That one's cute.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Dead or Survive, from Rob, thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.